Somebody very close to you and somebody who was a massive servant to the boxing industry died this week.
Yes, Denny Mancini, what a tragic shame. The game lost an ambassador of the sport, and I would say he's probably been in the corner of probably 500 world title fights, ranging from people like Joe Calzaghe, myself, the Klitschko's, Henry Mask of Germany, Sven Ottker, and no one had a bad word to say about Denny Mancini. He was a true gentleman and a true friend, and I used to ring him regularly for advice, and I know fighters like Billy Schwer used to ring him as well. He really was a credit to the sport.
And what was it that set him apart from the rest?
I just think he was not only a good cutsman, he's probably one of the best cutsmen ever, he really was. But afterwards, when your career's over, Denny would still ring you. He still send me a Christmas card every year, still phoning me, giving me advice on certain issues. And as I say, he was just a true friend all round, and will be sadly... I was going to see him this weekend, and yeah, he'll be sadly missed.
Well, Denny Mancini, who died this week at the age of 70. But as Richie was saying there, a real man of boxing, and he, like all of us, would have been really looking forward to tonight's big fight.
My name is Carl Thompson.
I'm David Haye.
I'm 40 years old.
23 years old.
I've got experience on my side.
I have youth.
Oh, good right hand by David Haye.
I come back from the brink.
Oh, what a good right hand.
To win.
Oh, what a shot from Thompson.
I've got off the floor.
There's the right hand.
To win.
Oh, lovely uppercut from David Haye.
I know what it's like to lose. After this fight, so will David Haye.
No man has heard the final bell.
Oh.
Neither will Carl Thompson.
Don't blink.
Carl Thompson
David Haye is getting knocked out.
Some fights don't need hype to sell them, and this is one of them. Carl Thompson may be 40 years old, but he's adamant he's got one big fight left in him. And David Haye at 23 is one of the most exciting and charismatic boxers in the British game. And the good news for all of you at home is they can both really punch. But Steve Bunce, you know, 40 years old, shouldn't Carl Thompson have been pensioned off an awful long time ago?
Yeah, he probably should be sitting at home in Bolton with his slippers on watching Amir Khan on TV. But he probably should have been pensioned off 6 years ago when he lost his first world title fight. Or maybe 4 years ago when he lost his second world title. Or maybe a few months ago when he was losing for 8 or 9 rounds before pulling out one punch to win this current world title. You can't write Carl Thompson off. He's won world titles in France. He's won European title fights in Italy. This is a guy, and until, as they say, the fat lady's singing, Carl Thompson's still swinging. It's that simple.
And he's fighting someone who's 17 years younger than him and who an awful lot has been written about. If ever there was a time for David Haye to produce, it's now.
Yeah, he's got to produce the goods tonight, no doubt about that. But I was really impressed with David Haye in his last contest against the American Arthur Williams. There, I think he boxed with a lot of aggression. I think he actually boxed with fear in his veins in that fight. He had a tight guard, he was very powerful and very quick. I think we'll see a similar performance tonight from David Haye. I think he will fight with a bit of fear in his veins, and that's not such a bad thing, that's good.
So who's going to win?
I just fancy David Haye. Carl's going to hate me for saying it. I just fancy David Haye.
Same again, I think Haye, inside 3 rounds. If it goes over 3 rounds, I think it's Thompson's fight.
Well, this fight is actually scheduled for 12, but if I was you, I wouldn't touch that remote. Let's join our MC, Mike Goodall.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the main event of the evening, and please welcome, firstly into the arena, the challenger for the title, David Haye!
David Haye, as ever, looking relaxed, casual, enjoying himself. This is going to be a major step up from the man who won the silver medal in the World Amateur Championships in Belfast some 3 years ago, and whom we thought might have been tempted into staying in the amateur game until the recent Athens Olympics. David Haye's flag has been carried by one Jody Marsh. David Haye's thoughts are going to be on Carl the Cat Thompson. And a great atmosphere here in the Wembley Arena as David Haye, the challenger, some 17 years younger than the champion. David Haye was only 7 years of age when Carl Thompson made his professional debut in June of 1988. But terrific support from the man from Catford.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, making his way to the ring, please welcome the IBO Cruiserweight Champion of the World, Carl the Cat Thompson!
Well, we thought that Carl Thompson had used up just about every one of his boxing lives. Way back in February in Sheffield, comprehensively outboxed for just about 8 rounds and most of 9 rounds by Sebastian Rothman from the Republic of South Africa, until, and holding firm to the old adage that the last thing a boxer loses is punch, Carl Thompson delivered the archetypal peach of a punch to relieve Mr. Rothman of the title and to put himself into a position where he's defending for the first time.
Ladies and gentlemen, would you please be upstanding for the national anthem to be sung by Natasha Soul.
God save our gracious Queen, long live our noble Queen, God save the Queen, send her victorious, happy and glorious, long to reign over us, God save the
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome viewers on BBC Sports to World Championship Boxing here at Wembley Arena. Our officials appointed for this contest by the IBO, the supervisor in charge, Mr. Charlie Payne from England, the British Boxing Board of Steward of Control, Mr. Des Rees, the timekeeper at the bell, Mr. Bob Edgeworth, and the judges at ringside, Mr. Phil Austin from Australia, Mr. Torben Hansen of Denmark, and Mr. Richie Davis of All Hallows in Kent, and the referee in charge of the action from Birmingham, Mr. Terry O'Connor. Promoted by Dennis Thompson and Evan Waterman's Promotions and sponsored by Interpoker.com, the world's best online poker room, I proudly present a contest of 12 3-minute rounds to decide the IBO Cruiserweight Championship of the World. Between and introducing the boxers, and firstly introducing out of the blue corner, he wears the all-white trunks and comes from Bermondsey. He weighed in at 14 stone, 11 pound and 12 ounces. He is undefeated as a professional, 10 wins from 10 contests. Ladies and gentlemen, he's the former undefeated English Cruiserweight champion and the challenger for the title tonight, presenting the sensational David Haye. And his opponent, ladies and gentlemen, across the ring in the red corner, wearing the green, orange and black trunks, fighting out of Bolton. He weighed in at 14 stone, 12 pounds. He brings to the ring a 38-fight professional record, 32 wins, 24 wins coming by way of knockout with 6 losses. He's the former British European Cruiserweight champion and the current and reigning and defending IBO Cruiserweight champion of the world, presenting Bolton's Carl the Cat Thompson. The referee, Mr. Terry O'Connor of Birmingham, will now give his final instructions to both boxers.
A very trim-looking Terry O'Connor brings them together for this most eagerly awaited contest in British boxing.
At all times, good fight, best of all tomorrow.
Yes.
So 3-minute rounds for the IBO Cruiserweight Championship of the world.
Well, among the questions that have been asked about this contest would be, is it a contest too far for Carl Thompson? Is it a contest too early for David Haye? We are about to find out.
We certainly are. You know, Carl's a notoriously slow starter. He's got to be so careful because, you know, Haye is a notoriously fast starter. Anything can happen.
Haye looking the bigger and the stronger of the two. Good right hand by Haye. And again by Haye. He is a very, very hard puncher, as the former IBF Cruiserweight champion Arthur Williams found out in Haye's last contest. That was in May in Reading. He stopped the very impressive Williams, and he's landed with a couple of good shots, and that was a good combination by David Haye. And look at that, there's not a flicker of emotion on the face of Haye as he goes to work, and Carl Thompson is in serious trouble in this opening round. The three judges at ringside may not be needed for this one if David Haye keeps going like this.
This is what we've come to expect from Carl Thompson. He gets punched from pillar to post, round after round. Takes him a few rounds to get going, it really does. But what a cracking, lovely left uppercut from Haye.
Well, Haye really is going to work. This is amazing by David Haye. He started off impressively against Arthur Williams, who was almost 40. He started off even more impressively against a man who is 40. Haye is catching Thompson, and those old legs of his are starting to wobble a little bit. We thought he was long gone against Sebastian Rothman before he came back with a contest-ending punch. Haye will not leave anything a chance, and Thompson is all over the place in this opening round.
This, again, I have to say what I said earlier, this is what we've come to expect from Carl Thompson. Haye looks incredibly sharp, has the box nice and careful, can't take it for granted.
Good right hand once again by Haye. Well, Thompson has more lives than a cat. He's got the heart of a lion, but Haye's got him again with a left hand. And Haye at this stage can't miss. Good jab by Thompson. He needs to regain his composure. Great footwork by Haye, just eased himself out of a tricky position. But Haye looks menacing and mean and wicked, and he's got Thompson again. Timekeeper started the count, but Terry O'Connor's let it go on. Thompson looking beleaguered. Can Haye end this by the end of the first? Thompson's mouth is open. Great uppercut by David Haye, and a right or left round the corner.
Oh, Thompson's hurt, definitely. His legs are all over the place. He is a notoriously slow starter. He's gone up there.
Terry O'Connor breaks them up. I thought for a second he was going to end this. Just a few seconds remaining. Back comes Thompson with a meaningful punch. Surely he hasn't been bluffing us all the way through this round. I don't think so. Haye nearly got him at the end. Haye got caught himself and wobbled. What an extraordinary opening round. Thompson looked to be gone 2, 3 and 4 times. And judges at ringside, Richie Davis from England, Torben Hansen from Denmark, and Philip Austin from Australia look as if they were redundant. What's going on in the Thompson corner? Well, Morris Gore, the former British light heavyweight champion, is ever in Thompson's corner, but they must be desperately concerned about Thompson. He is an extraordinary man, Thompson. He's saying, I'm fine, but I'm not sure that he is. David Haye threatened to dismantle the old warrior in the opening 3 minutes. Well, can he survive a second round?
I just feel the cat is probably at his most dangerous now. You know, Haye's got a box with extreme caution and a real cool head in there. He needs to pick and look for his openings.
Haye in white, one of the most gifted amateurs produced in Britain in recent years, now turning into one of the most talented professionals. Just his 11th professional contest, remember. Thompson has been to the very top of the mountain and back down again with alarming regularity. Oh, great right hand! What a shot by Haye. Thompson is all over the place once again. Haye is going to stop it surely in the second round. Terry O'Connor is giving the old champion every single chance. You can hardly hear the command break, which is what was issued. Well, Rothman from South Africa could not produce a series of punches compared with what David Haye has delivered, and look at Haye.
Haye's got to be careful he doesn't punch himself out. He's putting everything into these punches, and look, his mouth drops open. Now he knows he has to regroup, back off a little bit, get his breath back, because Carl's still standing.
Well, some people reckon Haye within 3 rounds. If it goes beyond that, it could be Thompson. Haye will want to try to get it over as quickly as he possibly can. He's never been beyond 4 rounds before. Stiff jab from the challenger.
The pace of David Haye slowed notoriously. Obviously, he's a massive puncher, as is Carl Thompson. But, you know, this really is, I'm telling you, the first one to land is going to go.
Haye bouncing up on the toes yet again. Still more than a minute to go to the end of the second in what has been a hugely one-sided contest. Haye is blowing a little bit, I'm amazed to say.
He's put so much into that onslaught. Everything he's trying with optimum power. And now he's stumbling over his feet ever so slightly.
Thompson wobbles and wobbles. And so many times he's still been there despite those wobblings. Right hand from Thompson was pretty ineffective. Remember, we have seen Haye hurt. That wasn't a bad right hand by Thompson. Lolenga Mack put Haye down and had him in all sorts of trouble before Haye came back.
Well, look, you're right, Carl Thompson, up at your own peril. This guy's been out on his feet in the first round, and now look at him, he's forcing the fight with David Haye. Haye does look a little bit tired, you know, the whole occasion, the whole fight can get to a fighter at different stages in the fight, but his punches don't have that same snap at the moment.
A couple of right hands from David Haye, not terribly effective. End of the second round in sight. It's a round that I think Haye has won, but it's been a better round for Thompson. But then after the first round, anything could have been better for Thompson. Is he going to do it again? Is he going to pull out a remarkable performance in terms of taking punishment and then dishing it back out again? And has the pendulum swung in favour of Carl Thompson?
Everything that we've done in the gym, all the moves, the walking off, the flanking, the blocking and carrying. Now it's time to put them on.
Well, Alan Booth is saying to David Haye that everything we've done in the gym, but as Jude McKenzie quite rightly observed, David Haye's whole taste suddenly dropped off alarmingly. That was a shot that would have ended many another contest, and look at Haye, really went for Thompson, and the wily old fella covered himself up to make the target area as small as possible, and Terry O'Connor had a really good look at him. There was that right hand, and anybody else, I'm quite sure, would have folded, but not Carl Thompson. What is that chin made of?
Second out, round 3.
We thought he was gone in the first, we thought he was gone in the second. Here is Carl Thompson in the third, and again, it's write him off if you dare, and he suddenly comes forward, and that's the first bit of zip we've seen. Is it Thompson's turn now to go on the offensive?
Well, I really expected David Haye to box and not try to take this guy out in the early rounds. I expected him to do everything off the jab and then follow it up after that, but he's just gone for Carl Thompson, and now his pace has definitely dropped. He knows he's got to be more careful. He can't just throw shots in the general direction where he hopes they're going to land. They have to be more pinpoint.
Haye is standing there, and Thompson is being first, slicing right hand from Thompson. Caught the challenge, there wasn't much behind it. Round the corner from Haye, there's no zip in those punches, there's no venom in those punches. Maybe he's taking the breather.
But he shouldn't need a breather right now. What he should be doing is taking the centre of the ring and using that jab, looking for the openings. David Work looks a little bit lacklustre because he's gone for the knockout right at that present moment in time. It never paid off for him.
Well, he took that good stiff left jab from Thompson flush, and he grinned a little bit. Haye may just be measuring his man up for another big shot, a right hand perhaps. The longer this goes on, the longer or the more Thompson will fancy it. Better work again from Haye, but he's missing with those shots. Did catch him. Good right hand round the corner once again. Haye still going for the big singles.
Well, he's looking to stamp his authority again in this round, looking to pot shot with single punches. To just really start using his jab, because, you know, I'm telling you, Carl Thompson's, his legs are gone. He just doesn't have the footwork which he once had, obviously, in his youth. So, with the younger guy, you would expect it from Haye to use a lot of lateral movement, get in and out behind the jab, wear this old warhorse down.
Well, there's a danger of Haye slowing down to Thompson's pace, and that will suit the 40-year-old.
There's also the danger of David punching himself out.
Well, he's showing Thompson the shot, and Thompson can tend to bide his time. That was another solid right hand by Haye with 40 seconds to go. And again, flush on the jaw, and Thompson takes it and comes straight back and jabs Haye, and Haye gets him again. Haye grimaces, great body shot by David Haye.
I don't know how this guy stands up, I really don't. He's like Freddy Krueger or Jason in one of them horror films. He just won't go away.
Watch the shoulder from referee Terry O'Connor. Thompson has survived another round. Nasty clash of heads there, accidental. Good left hand by Thompson. Caught Haye with a decent shot, and Thompson up on his toes at the end of that round. And Haye, breathing heavily, goes back to his corner. And the longer this goes on, the better it is going to suit the champion, Carl Thompson.
How you feeling? All right. Let's get this thing. Let's go. Take it off. Listen, this boy is doing his best shots already, okay? Don't get too careless. Don't get too careless now, right? Start moving your head after you follow your shots, all right?
The Morris score very softly spoken in the Thompson corner. Another extraordinary round. Thompson coming forward really for the first time. Haye has to fend him away. Haye, as ever, with those hands held very low. Better work from David Haye, turned his man very nicely, but Thompson is still there.
Second round 4.
Well, a lot of the smart money, or so-called smart money, was in the man in white trunks, David Haye, winning this contest by the end of round 2 or even round 3. We're now into round 4. And remember, last time out, Carl Thompson took an absolute battering for 8 rounds against the former champion, Sebastian Rothman, and produced an extraordinary one-punch stoppage in the 9th round. And we know that David Haye is a little bit susceptible. Thompson just working away. Those legs of his, there's veins on them like a road map.
You know, the worrying thing for me about David Haye right now is that there's no snap behind his punches. There's no urgency behind his work. He's looking for that one big payoff punch. It hasn't happened early on, but now you'd expect him to use the whole perimeter of the ring, stay out of trouble because the cat's dangerous, but there's no life in his legs. He's just standing there dormant.
Well, he's getting himself caught, and this will suit Thompson. Good right hand by David Haye. But the initial impetus has gone the way of the champion, Carl Thompson. He's got to get himself back into this.
You know, the mind's a very funny thing of a boxer, it really is. I just wonder now if David Haye actually feels fatigued. He looks tired and he looks a little bit cumbersome.
Well, I have to harken back to the World Championships in Belfast 3 years ago when David Haye put the Cuban Orlanier Solis on the canvas in the opening round, and Solis got up and came back at him and eventually stopped David Haye on the 15-point differential rule, and Haye looked a very tired and beaten boxer on that occasion. And look at the bounce now, the bounce with Thompson. Good right hand by Thompson. This is truly amazing from the 40-year-old. And there's nothing coming through from Haye at this stage. One punch could change all that. But it's Thompson coming forward. Has the tide turned?
Well, it looks that way. I mean, Thompson took a flush left uppercut right to the jaw. And in the round previous, that same punch bobbled him. But as I said before, he's like Freddy Krueger, it just keeps coming. But Thompson's got swelling now in his left eye, where he's taking those shots from David Haye.
Well, Haye not doing very much. He's content to let Thompson have a go at him. Thompson lands with a good right hand. Wasn't all that much behind it, but these are shots that are going to take a lot of the steam out of David Haye's work. Better right by the challenger. 30 seconds remaining.
Haye can't take it for granted that Thompson's going to punch himself out, because he doesn't. This guy's been around the block many a time. He's had more title fights than David Haye has actually had fights. He knows his way around this ring.
This is title fight number 16 for Thompson. Good right hand by him. Again, not a lot behind it, but every single one of those shots is being felt by David Haye, and he might just get a little bit more on it at some stage. Thompson, and again Thompson lands, and this is the best round so far for the champion. And he gives him a really baleful look, as if to say, I have taken some, the best you can throw at me, and I'm still here, and I'm coming back. Well, what a round that was. And I'm sure there might be genuine cause for concern in the Haye corner, because that was the first round that we reckon that he's lost.
Absolutely. The turn of the tide, as you've just seen it, that was Thompson's round. He's done exceptionally well. This guy's been out on his feet, but look at this onslaught from him. I mean, Haye's standing passive, he's got the poker face, but he's taking punches as flush as you could want.
Well, is Haye trying to kid us all a little bit and just stand there and say, I can take shots as well, and I've got a little bit in reserve?
Before your punches, move the body, move the head, okay? That was just
2 seconds. Corners, 10 seconds.
Let's go. Watch your legs. Move now, your legs, okay?
Come on, you're fine.
Round 5.
Let's go, come on.
Well, who would have thought that after rounds 1 and 2, which went so convincingly the way of the challenger in the white trunks, David Haye, that would be in round 5. And look at the bounce now. Haye is very much flat-footed, and all the bounce and zip and movement is coming from, what a great shot by Carl Thompson. Left round the corner, and again Haye is getting hit far too often and far too accurately.
Well, Haye's legs look gone, they really do. He's absolutely rooted to the canvas. He's still throwing big shots, but they're single shots. There's not enough of them. That'll give Carl Thompson all the confidence that he needs to come forward like that. And he can't have a blow to that Carl Thompson tee off on him.
Well, we did ask the questions at the start of this contest. Was it a contest too many for Thompson? Was it a contest too soon for David Haye? Those both still to be answered. But at the moment, this is a contest that is suiting the pace and the experience and the craft and guile and sheer bloody-mindedness of Carl Thompson.
Haye's struggling to put a combination together right now. He needs it to get his confidence going again, to stamp his authority. But he can't put punches together in bunches. Okay, that hurt, but look, he's absolutely winging these punches in. He can't sustain the attack.
Haye's mouth is open. He's breathing very heavily. He's looking for the single shot.
And he waited for the single shot, but he waited too long and got picked up with a jab and a right hand.
Great shot round the corner.
That's a knockdown. That's a genuine knockdown.
The second time in his professional career that David Haye has been on the canvas as Carl Thompson, who's now got a 10-8 round in his favour, going to finish this, and has the much vaunted great hope of British cruiserweight and world cruiserweight boxing going to get a lesson from the old fellow whom everybody had just about written off.
I said at the beginning of this fight, right, Carl Thompson, up at your own peril, because I tell you, this guy, he won't lay down. David Haye needs an almighty punch now to swing this back in his favour, but he looks in terrible state.
He's getting caught with right hands. His defence is all over the place. There's nothing coming back from David Haye. And one wonders what sort of mental condition he is in. He always looks in great physical condition. Did he really think he was going to get rid of Carl Thompson in the first couple of rounds? Did he really think that he shouldn't have trained for 12 against a man who could do 46?
Well, this is incredible from Carl Thompson, it really is. Yet again, he's proved himself. Haye's gone!
Oh, he's all over the place. The towel's come in from the Haye corner. The towel has come in, and it's all over. David Haye's career is in tatters. David Haye's career is in tatters. The towel has come in, and they've decided that it's all over. Well, you would have not got money on this happening at all. The most amazing performance by Carl Thompson. And what has happened to David Haye? Where did David Haye go to? Where did David Haye disappear to? But what does it say about Carl Thompson? This fella does not know how to be beaten. This fella does not know how to lie down. This fella was going to go out on his shield, and as it turned out, the challenger, the man some 17 years his junior, was reduced to, well, novice status by this wily old warrior. They talk about cats having 7 lives or 9 lives. This fella's got 100.
He's a boy.
Again, Thompson's produced one of the most remarkable, it has to be described as remarkable turnarounds in any fight. Again, you write this man off at your own peril. He is a real credit to the sport. David Haye absolutely punched himself out. The first couple of rounds, put everything into it, and he paid the price. It's an incredible turnaround, yet again by the cat.
Well, they've got oxygen in there for David Haye. He really looks weary from about the 4th round on. He looked as if there was nothing in the tank whatsoever, which is extraordinary, given the fact that he's only 23 years of age. He says, well done to Carl Thompson. And the old master has done it again. But the question has to be asked, what went wrong with David Haye? What an amazing turnaround by Carl Thompson. Outboxed and outbattered. And then all of a sudden, in this round, he produced 2 knockdowns, genuine knockdowns. Haye got caught. Little glancing blow off the side of David Haye's head, and Haye looked so susceptible and so vulnerable, and he couldn't take it at all. And then Thompson, not content with that, did it again. There was that slicing hand, and look at that. Haye all over the place, and Thompson rushed in for the finish. And at that point, the towel came in, and Haye was completely gone. What a finish by Carl Thompson. And even more spectacular, perhaps, than the one against Rothman, because David Haye was really the much vaunted hope of British boxing. And his career really has got to go back to square one. There's the towel comes in, and Carl Thompson will be celebrating yet again. Haye had absolutely nothing to give back in return, and look at him, there was a look of resignation on his face. He said, come forward, but it was half-hearted, and Thompson needed no second bidding. What a finish by the 40-year-old.
Carl, we should be getting used to it now, but that was pretty amazing.
I don't know. I think I was on the receiving end of most of it. So, you know what I mean. I'm not the most greatest talented boxer in the world, but everyone knows my strongest point is my heart. And if I hang in there, I'm going to give any boxer trouble in the world, you know. Yeah. And when full respect to David, he showed how much talent he has. He's got brilliant talent. You know what I mean? I knew what was going to happen. One of us was just going to go. You know what I mean? And I went prepared to go. That's all it was.
How close were you to going in those first 2 rounds?
No, it rocked me. Don't get me wrong, it hurt me. Don't get me mistaken, but my head was clear. My head was clear. I'm waiting for him to come in, and I think he's a bit wary of it now. I was waiting for him to come in. He did come in a few times, and he caught me by surprise. I'm full of respect, but I was having enough sense to put my hand up and watch where he's coming from. Yeah.
And then gradually you worked your way back into the fight, and by the 5th round now, we can look here if you can take us through the first knockdown, about midway through the first knockdown.
Well, I felt like Dave was getting tired. He was throwing less punches. I don't know, he was trying to make more of his punches. He tried to make more, so I thought, increase it now. Now's the time to increase it. Step on him, increase on it. Not say throw it. Every time we worked in that punch to get out of the top, I missed him there, didn't I? I know I got him. He's still shaking. Was you kidding, man?
Huh? A little bit. I knew he was going to come back in with a shot.
Yeah. Listen, you know, I was all planning to throw the punch was there, just pick the punch and just throw it. You know what I mean?
Where does that rank among all the wins you've had in your career?
You know, it ranked high because everyone give me any hope. They use age, every time they think age in my face, and I'm showing you age is not a barrier. We are individual. We're not all the same. Why tarnish me with the same boss with everyone else? I mean, I've got enough strength. I know what I'm in the sport for. As long as I know what I'm in the sport for, You know what I mean? No one can tell me nothing different.
David, from your point of view, the fight was won after 2 rounds. What happened?
It wasn't one. I knew that Carl had a lot more in the tank. I've watched his fight, as I said in the previews, I've watched his fights for years. I know what he's like. Even with Chris Eubank, he dummied and tried to play possum a couple of times and come back with big shots. When I thought I had him going in the first couple of rounds, I could see in his eyes that he wasn't that gone.
And his head was clear.
Seem to see it.
I could see it when I was in there.
To interview me, he doesn't seem to see it.
I knew that, and that's why I took this fight, because a lot of people in British boxing, they try and take fights that they 100% know they could win. I knew that Carl's got tremendous heart. I knew that he could take big beatings and come back. That's exactly why I won his fight. If you look at the last few months, Danny Williams has gone out and beat Mike Tyson. Amir Khan's had a great success in the Olympics. I wanted to do the same sort of thing. I wanted to come and give value for money. And sometimes you've got to risk losing to give value for money. I think everyone who watched that would pay money again to see that again. I would love to fight him again because it gave everyone such entertainment. And you actually, believe it or not, I was actually enjoying it in there because I knew I had him hurt a couple of times. I knew he hurt me a couple of times. But that's what boxing's about. Boxing's about not knowing the result.
But you seem to run out of gas very quickly, David.
It wasn't I was running out of gas. I wanted to slow the pace down and watch what he was doing. If you looked, I was actually getting hit less when I was throwing less punches. When I was rushing and trying to finish him, that's when I was getting caught with big shots. So I wanted to slow the pace down, let him throw his shots, block and cover, and pick my punches a bit better. As it happened, he just caught me with a few good shots, and I could say I adopted the wrong tactics. I went out there trying to give too much to the crowd and just getting stuck in where I could have tried to use my skills in outboxing. But if I could have ran around the ring and picked a jab here and not get involved, but people would have started booing, and that's what boxing's not about. That boxing. I know, obviously, he wouldn't have tried to allow me, but I think I could have made it a bit more comfortable myself by using my jab a bit more. But boxing's exciting. Boxing's all about not knowing what's going to happen, and I actually enjoyed that. It might be a loss on my record, but I can come back. All the best fighters lose from time to time. Bernard Hopkins lost his first fight. He come back to be one of the best fighters in the world. De La Hoya's lost. Mosley's lost. Roy Jones has lost. It's just one of those things in boxing. Carl's lost, but he's come back now and proved that he's one of the best fighters.
What about next time then, Carl? Will David get another chance?
David get a chance. I fight anyone. Don't you understand how I function? I fight anyone. It doesn't matter. And I'm not trying to be hard. I'm not trying to be a big man. You know what I mean? As long as people are paying the money, I fight him. You know what I mean? That's me. Why run?
The crowd want to see that.
Well done tonight.
Thank you.
Well, sport makes mugs of us all, and nobody saw that coming.
Nobody saw it coming, especially David Haye. And especially perhaps Richie and I, although Richie did say if it goes 3 rounds, Carl's got a chance. But that was an only chance and a slim chance.
Yeah, I thought that Haye would take him out in 2 rounds, I have to say. Forgive me, Carl. But the problem with Haye, he didn't finish the job off. That's why I said he's got to jump on this guy over 3 rounds and sustain the pressure and finish the guy off. You allow this guy to come back at you and it's all over.
But Richie had nothing left. It was like nervous energy. You saw him just fade away in round 2. He had nothing left.
And not only that, his face, his whole complexion, David Haye changed. The look of worry come on his face.
Listen, Carl Thompson will probably carry on fighting until he's 140 at a certain level.
Yeah.
Where does David Haye go from now?
David Haye goes from here. He has a long break and he gets his head right. And I think he may need to change the way he prepares for a fight. He may need to change the mindset around him, because it's all very well being an expert on all those fancy machines. He ran out of stamina in there, and you can't just blame that on nerves, Rich.
But the positive thing about David Haye, after the fight, he was very upbeat. He knew what the game was all about tonight. He learned so much from that contest, he really did. And he'll be back. He's young, he's strong, he's powerful. He will come back from that contest.
It was a good fight as well, wasn't it?
Fantastic.
Beautiful. We said it'd be a good fight, and was it a good fight? And plenty more to come on BBC television before the end of the month. You can see Froch, you can see Eastman, and you can see Roy Jones on September the 24th and September the 26th.